Now that you got a little bit more of a workable understanding on what I've shown you about using light, we're going to talk briefly about using the smartphone camera's exposure control. It's a very important thing to understand. So let me show you how that works. Controlling exposure when you're shooting food is as important as understanding the light that's lighting it. The smartphone, the iPhone 7 in particular, uses a unique approach to helping you control the exposure. If you tap on the screen in an area, it'll take that area and evaluate it for exposure and optimize the exposure for that. If you don't do anything, it'll look at the overall picture and come up with its own idea for exposure on that. But it does offer you some control to negate its thinking and to override that by using your finger to tap on certain areas. So let's talk about exposure. Exposure determines the effect of the photograph, especially when you're using available light. You'll have hard backlight or soft backlight, and you need some exposure to cover the food itself. So here are a few examples of different exposures of pretty much the same shot. And you can see that the effects are very, very different and obvious. So if you understand what I taught you in the first segment about controlling the exposure with your finger, then experiment. Play with the light and play with the exposure. And there's really not a whole lot more I can tell you about using the exposure control other than use it, think with it, and enjoy yourself. Now let's move on to the next segment, which is going to be about composition, zoom, and perspective.